Hello again, I'm Christopher Hanlon of Eastern Illinois University, here with the Close Reading Cooperative, the podcast and literary analysis for English majors. Now, for the last few weeks, we've been talking all about Scansion. Scansion is just one of those skills that separate English majors from other sorts of people. We've been talking about pyrrhics and spondees and iambs and trochees, and then last week we got into some of the trisyllabics, dactyls and anapests, and today, just very briefly, I wanted to point out to you that there are also four-syllable feet out there. All kinds of four-syllable feet, but the types I want to point out to you today are what are called peons. Now, a peon consisting of four syllables can find a stress in any one of those four syllables. If the stress falls on the first syllable of a peon, it's called a primus peon. If the stress falls on the second syllable, it's called a secundus peon. If it falls on the third syllable, that's called a tertius peon. And if it falls on the last syllable, appropriately enough, that's a quadrus peon. Okay, now we're going to do something fun. I want to give you a little bit of homework for the Close Reading Cooperative. I'm going to put on screen right now a poem by Wallace Stevens, great poem called Anecdote of the Jar. Here it is. Now, I'm not going to read this to you. You don't need me chattering in your ear all the time. And besides, you've got a whole toolbox full of tools right now that you can use to scan this poem. But go through it, hazard some statements about the meter of this poem. Do you see iambs, trochees, spondees, pyrrhics, anapests, dactyls, peons? The important thing here would be to look at the poem, figure out something about the meter, and most importantly, figure out something to say about how that meter helps to shape meaning. Always the most important thing whenever we're scanning a poem. Once you've come up with a strong reading, I want you to log on to our Facebook page at Close Reading Cooperative and get on our wall and write a bit about what you see there. Do you see iambs, trochees, pyrrhics, anapests, dactyls, peons, what have you? Come up with a reading, describe the meter of that poem, or the meter of one of the stanzas maybe, and most of all, hazard some guesses about why that meter matters, how it helps to shape meaning in the poem. Now, we're going to go through those commentaries, and when we find one that really says something neat, we're going to send that person first prize, all right? A copy here of Hugh Holman's A Handbook to Literature, just an absolute classic in all things related to close reading. Okay, so we're going to look forward to seeing how you scan Anecdote of the Jar, and we'll see you next time on the Close Reading Cooperative.